There's been leaks of Valve's alleged new game that goes by the name of Deadlock, that was apparently formerly known as Neon Prime, and prior to that under the codename Citadel. This has got a lot of people excited and hyped. It's been too long since Valve made a new game, not counting Half-Life Alyx, of course. Hell, I made 2 videos about those topics. Please go watch them. Shameless self-plugging aside, I stated in my Return of Valve video that I think that the decade of the 2020s is when Valve will really start making games again. Will they be the same company as they were in the late 90s and 2000s? Probably not, but they're gonna make games nonetheless. And initially, I was very happy and excited to hear about this news. But as I contemplated on the meaning of this whole leak thing, I came to a realization. Amidst everything that I've heard about people bringing up the topic, reporting on it, and sharing their thoughts on it, there's something that I haven't heard. So I'm here to bring up something that I think people haven't considered about this whole leak situation. Game leaks, in general, can range anywhere from minor annoyances to full-on PR nightmares for the respective game company. In recent memory, it happened to the upcoming Wolverine game. A more high-profile one would be GTA 6. And while I don't know how well Insomniac is going to deal with that, I know that Rockstar as a whole are going to bounce back from their leak fairly strongly, considering that they sent the guy who did the hack to the Shadow Realm for what he did. One game that I know definitely got affected a lot by getting leaked was Last of Us Part 2. This game is divisive, to say the least. I won't bring up anything about the story or the perceived political stuff about it, which is really stupid that I have to say that, but anyway, long story short is, the story of Last of Us Part 2 was leaked. People saw what was going to happen in the story and what it would mean for the gameplay, and it led to full-on boycotts. People swore off the game. And while I'm pretty sure Last of Us Part 2 is still a success in Naughty Dog's resume, it definitely stung a lot. Long story short, leaks, for the most part, are just bad. It's bad for the game companies, and while the fans initially might think it's good news for them, they might be justifying it as a little sneak peek on what's to come, I believe leaks of any kind are detrimental to the health of any video game. But circling back to Gabe, Valve is the last company that you would want to have their game leaked. Valve is a very reclusive company. They tend not to give too much information about anything that they're working on, and they definitely do not try to hype up their games with excessive marketing. They are a company that prefers to let the quality of their work do the talking for them. Valve has been hacked multiple times in the past, but the most notorious one was the Half-Life 2 leak. Again, watch my video for more info, but too long didn't read. Half-Life 2 took a long time to make. It had a lot of expectations riding on it, considering it's supposed to be the follow-up to one of the most genre-defining games in history. Naturally, it went through many revisions and overhauls. There were times that the game was almost complete and Valve would scrap it and start again from scratch. So, when the company got hacked somewhere in between 2002 to 2003, the current build and source code of their game was leaked online for everyone to see, and it nearly killed development for the game. It was so demoralizing for the team. Everything that they've worked for, and while it wasn't done yet, and I'm sure they were proud of it, it doesn't feel good to have your unfinished work shown to everyone online. Thankfully, Half-Life 2 eventually released despite the setbacks. So you can see how this relates to this Deadlock leak. Because if these leaks are indeed true, I could see how this could end up delaying or even outright canceling this game. Valve really doesn't like having their private unfinished shit shown to the world. And this shit in question, with the latest working name of Deadlock, is supposed to be Valve's new major multiplayer title, headed by IceFrog, the guy in charge of Dota 2. From the reports that I've heard, it's going to be a third-person shooter with several different elements of various game genres, ranging from hero shooters, MOBAs, tower defense, extraction games, alongside with PvP and PvP elements. I have to say, that's quite the interesting mix of genres right there. But now, because of these leaks, the final game could be very, very different, assuming the game comes out at all. According to Tyler McVicker, Valve had no NDAs for this new upcoming game. They operated purely on an honor system, with these super early playtesters, and just hoped that no one would be a dick and leak the game online. I could be getting this info wrong about how this leak happened, but ultimately that doesn't matter. All that matters is it did get leaked. The details is irrelevant. There are some people saying that these could be faked, AI generated and whatnot. I could see that. AI is getting scarily good at this kind of stuff. I wouldn't put it past people to make fake leaks just to stir up conversation. Watch this video by internet historian, it's actually pretty funny. To me, I have one reason why I kind of think that this might not be fake. It's the buildings in the pictures. I recognize the look of the buildings, the way the game engine renders bricks, cement, and tiles. Purely just because I spent an abnormal amount of time staring at walls whenever I play Half-Life Alyx. I realize that that's a shit argument about whether or not this could be fake or not. After all, someone could have just opened up Source 2, throw a bunch of Half-Life Alyx and Counter-Strike 2 assets into a map and Photoshop the screenshot to look convincing. But there was so much buzz about a new multiplayer Valve game for years now that I do think that this is a reasonable time for Valve to work on something new. It lines up. So, these screenshots. They show us some things. For example, the camera view. Yeah, it's a third-person game. Who would have guessed? It also shows the HUD. A nice touch is apparently what appears to be the health bar is shown on the left side of the character model. I like that. That's a nice touch. You can see the hero icons and the minimap in the corner. Yeah, it looks very MOBA-esque, similar to Smite and how it treats its minimap. There's also this screenshot of a hero profile, Grey Talon. Here's another screenshot of what appears to be a training map. I say that because there's only 2 icons on the top side of the screen and they're of the same character, alongside with the massive text info dump on the right side. And the final screenshot shows what appears to be a zipline mechanic. The game seems to emphasize these 4 lanes and how you can quickly traverse across these 4 lanes. This screenshot also better shows off the geometry and I guess you could say the theme of the map. You can see the aesthetics. It seems to be just regular modern day brick buildings and streets. Not exactly something you would think of when you think of fantasy. That's why I guess I used the word pseudo-fantasy. Early reports of this game was when it was once known as Citadel, and back then it was supposed to take place in the Half-Life universe. But as development continued, the project became known as Neon Prime and took on a sci-fi futuristic theme. But as time went on and they worked with the name Deadlock, they're now sticking with this pseudo-modern fantasy theme. I'll give my opinions in just a bit, but talking about these screenshots, it is possible that these are just placeholders for the map and hero models. We don't know how old these screenshots are. They could be years old at this point, so something for you to keep in mind. Now, for my unwanted dog shit opinion. On a personal level, I play a lot of Dota. A lot of my online multiplayer experiences has been influenced more or less by MOBAs in some way or another. So I find it very strange that I'm not particularly impressed by these screenshots. And again, I know that these could be placeholders, but regardless, the concept doesn't really sound that appealing to me. I will admit though, I have an extreme aversion to hero shooters in general. I just do not enjoy hero shooters. Overwatch, Paladins, Valorant, I just don't find them fun. I don't know why. Which is funny because I love MOBAs. But I guess the moment you shift the camera from a top-down point of view to first person or third person, I just lose interest. It's weird, I don't know. And just by looking at the visuals, there seems to be a lot of aesthetic clashing in my opinion. Like the characters look very stylized, but the environments all look realistic and it just doesn't mesh well, which I guess could be another point to this being placeholders, but still, I'm just going off on what we have here. And while the initial concept doesn't necessarily excite me, seeing this many genres mashed together, I can't really say any other game has tried to do this, so maybe the game will be good. I don't know. These are so many genres thrown together that no one has ever done this, and I hope it's gonna be good. One thing that I guess that I'm genuinely excited about was the extraction mechanic. I don't play a lot of extraction games. In fact, I think my only extraction game I've ever played was The Cycle, which did not last long, by the way. But yeah, I don't know how mixing MOBA and hero shooters would mix with an extraction game. So I guess I'd be interested to see how that goes. I guess the thing that I'm just majorly bummed about is the art style. I don't think it looks good. It looks too generic, in my opinion. So maybe Valve is gonna have to do some extreme heavy lifting in the character department. I know they can do that. They were able to turn the Left 4 Dead survivors from just generic looking people into one of the most lovable video game characters out there. And I don't know, I just hope it goes well, man. I just want this game to come out and I want to play it, I guess. Anything that Valve puts out will be good, you know? Except Artifact. That game was bad not because of the gameplay. It was bad because of the monetization. I'm losing track. I'm gonna I'm gonna go to the next part now. I don't know how Valve is gonna respond to all of this. We're definitely never gonna know. But I'm of the belief that this leak is not going over well at Valve. Papa Gaben is probably eating someone for this mistake. I hope that they still go forward and release the game regardless, but man, I will not be surprised if they don't. Besides, we all know that there's only one game that we want Valve to release. You know the one I'm talking about. The sequel to one of the most beloved and culturally significant games of all time. The game that Valve has teased us for years, for decades, and they never gave us anything about. You know the one. I'm talking about Ricochet 2. Where is it, Valve? You need to answer these fucking questions.